As a brain doctor who has spent decades treating patients in the critical hours after a stroke, I must tell you something that very few people realize. The morning hours are the most dangerous time of the day for stroke. I have seen it repeatedly. A patient goes to bed feeling fine, but within an hour of waking, they suddenly collapse, lose their speech, or can no longer move one side of their body. Families are shocked because it seems to happen out of nowhere. But the truth is it does not. There are hidden habits, repeated every single morning, that quietly push the body toward disaster. These habits may look small, even harmless, but inside your arteries and brain, they create the perfect storm for stroke. You may think you are just rushing out of bed, enjoying a quick cup of coffee, or ignoring a dizzy spell. But what you are really doing is placing sudden stress on blood vessels that are already fragile with age. Stroke is not only about genetics or age. It is about choices repeated day after day that weaken the brain until one morning the damage can no longer be contained. In this video, I will reveal 4 common morning habits that are slowly increasing stroke risk. Habits I have seen destroy the independence of patients who otherwise looked healthy. The good news is that once you recognize them, you can replace them with simple, safer practices that protect your brain, your circulation, and your future. Before we dive in, if you have not subscribed yet, I recommend you hit that button and turn on the bell so you never miss another health tip made just for you. If you enjoy this video, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 to let me know how I can make better content for you. Part 1. Skipping water in the morning. One of the most overlooked yet dangerous habits that quietly raises stroke risk is beginning the day without drinking water. It may sound trivial. After all, many seniors believe they will get enough fluids later in the day through coffee, tea, or meals. But as a brain doctor, I can assure you that the very first hour after waking is when your body needs hydration the most, and neglecting it can set the stage for a life-threatening event. When you sleep, your body loses fluid through breathing and sweating, even if you do not notice it. By morning, your blood is slightly thicker and more concentrated. If you go several more hours without water, that concentration increases, making it easier for blood clots to form. Clots are the silent trigger for ischemic stroke, the most common type among older adults. Imagine your arteries as narrow pipes already stiffened with age. Thickened blood is like sludge flowing through them. It moves slowly, and it only takes one clot to block the flow entirely. I once treated a 72-year-old woman who collapsed just 30 minutes after waking. She had a history of high blood pressure but had been stable for years. Her family told me she always skipped breakfast and never drank water in the morning, relying on coffee later. That morning routine, repeated for years, may have been the final push that allowed a clot to travel to her brain. The result was a severe stroke that left her unable to speak. Studies confirm this danger. Research from the American Heart Association has shown that dehydration increases the risk of clot formation and raises blood viscosity, especially in older adults. And mornings, when hydration levels are already low, are the most critical window. Choosing coffee instead of water makes things worse, as caffeine is a mild diuretic and further depletes fluids. The solution is simple but powerful. Keep a glass of water by your bedside and drink it within the first 15 minutes of waking. This single act thins your blood naturally, improves circulation, and reduces morning blood pressure spikes. If you want extra protection, add a slice of lemon for vitamin C and antioxidants. For seniors who struggle with dizziness or lightheadedness in the morning, water is not just a health tip, it is medicine. It stabilizes circulation, delivers oxygen more efficiently, and gives the brain the fluid balance it needs to start the day safely. So before you reach for coffee, tea, or breakfast, make hydration your first ritual, because skipping water in the morning may feel harmless, but for your brain, it can be the silent trigger that leads to disaster. And if you think water alone is critical, wait until you see what happens when you jump out of bed too quickly. That habit can be just as dangerous, and we will uncover why next. Part 2. Jumping out of bed too quickly. Another morning habit that silently increases stroke risk is jumping out of bed too quickly. Many seniors are accustomed to waking, swinging their legs over the side, and standing up in one swift motion. It may seem efficient, even disciplined, but what it really does is shock the body at its most vulnerable time of day, during sleep. Blood pressure naturally lowers, and circulation slows. When you suddenly go from lying flat to standing, gravity pulls blood down toward the legs. In younger people, the body rapidly adjusts, tightening blood vessels and speeding the heart rate to maintain steady pressure in the brain. But as we age, those reflexes weaken, arteries stiffen. The nervous system responds more slowly, and medications for blood pressure or heart conditions can blunt the body's ability to correct itself. The result is a sudden drop in blood flow to the brain, known as orthostatic hypotension. For some, this shows up as dizziness or blurred vision. For others, it means fainting, collapsing, or worse, a stroke triggered by rapid changes in blood pressure. I recall a case of a 69-year-old man who prided himself on being disciplined. Every morning he would leap out of bed to begin his day with exercise. One morning, however, he collapsed within seconds of standing. His wife found him on the floor, unable to move one side of his body. Doctors determined that the sudden shift in blood pressure and an already narrowed artery in his brain combined to cause a clot to lodge where blood flow was most restricted. That quick motion, which he thought was a sign of strength, turned into the trigger for his stroke. Research supports this link. Studies in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society show that older adults who rise too quickly from bed are significantly more likely to experience sudden blood pressure drops, dizziness, and fainting, all of which raise the risk of falls and strokes. For seniors already living with hypertension, diabetes, or cardiovascular disease, the danger is magnified. The solution is not complicated, but it requires intention. When you wake, take a moment to breathe deeply. Wiggle your fingers and toes. Slowly roll to your side. Sit up gently and pause for 30 to 60 seconds before standing. This allows your blood vessels and nervous system time to adjust. Once sitting, plant your feet firmly on the ground. Take another deep breath, and only then rise slowly to standing. Some doctors even recommend doing light stretching or ankle rotations while still in bed to prepare the body. Think of this as a morning ritual of respect for your circulation and your brain. By slowing down those first few moments, you are not wasting time. You are buying years of healthier living. If skipping water makes your blood thicker, and jumping out of bed shocks your circulation, imagine what happens when you pour strong coffee into a body that is still empty and adjusting. That habit is our next hidden danger, and what you learn may surprise you. Part 3. Drinking coffee on an empty stomach. For many seniors, the first thing they reach for in the morning is not water. not a balanced meal, but a steaming cup of coffee. It feels comforting. It helps clear the morning fog. And for decades, it has been a daily ritual. But drinking coffee on an empty stomach is one of the hidden habits that can quietly raise your stroke risk. And the danger comes from the way caffeine interacts with an already vulnerable morning body. Coffee is a stimulant. Its caffeine content raises blood pressure and accelerates heart rate. Effects that may be manageable for younger adults, but far more dangerous for older individuals whose arteries are stiff, whose heart rhythm may already be irregular, or who take blood pressure medications. When you drink coffee before giving your body any hydration or nutrition, you magnify these effects. The diuretic property of caffeine pulls even more fluid out of the body, worsening the natural dehydration that already exists after a night of sleep. This makes the blood thicker, increasing the risk of clots. At the same time, caffeine triggers a surge in cortisol. The stress hormone, cortisol, constricts blood vessels and further raises blood pressure, creating a perfect storm where blood vessels in the brain are under sudden strain. For a senior with silent plaque buildup or weak vessel walls, that morning cup can be the tipping point. I treated a 74-year-old woman who had no history of heart disease. But every morning she skipped breakfast, ignored water, and drank 2 strong cups of coffee before doing anything else. One morning she developed sudden double vision and slurred speech, and tests revealed she had experienced a transient ischemic attack, a mini stroke. Her doctors believed the repeated stress from morning caffeine spikes without hydration or food had pushed her circulation past its breaking point. Research echoes this pattern. Studies published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition show that older adults who consume high levels of caffeine, especially without food, are more likely to experience elevated blood pressure variability, which is strongly linked to stroke risk. The solution is not to give up coffee entirely. Moderate coffee consumption has some health benefits, but timing and balance matter. If you enjoy coffee, never drink it on an empty stomach. Always hydrate first with a glass of water and pair your coffee with a small breakfast rich in protein and fiber, such as oatmeal with fruit or eggs with vegetables. This cushions the effect of caffeine on the stomach, reduces acid irritation, and stabilizes blood sugar so that your circulation is not shocked. Switching to half-caffeinated or herbal alternatives like green tea can also soften the impact while still giving you the comfort of a warm morning drink. So remember, coffee is not the enemy. The way you drink it is. When combined with dehydration and an empty stomach, it can quietly push your blood pressure and brain into dangerous territory. And while caffeine can be corrected with simple adjustments, the next habit is more subtle. It is about ignoring signals your body is already sending. Many seniors dismiss morning dizziness and fatigue, but those are often the earliest warning whispers of a stroke. And ignoring them may cost you everything. Part 4. Ignoring morning dizziness and fatigue. Of all the morning habits that increase stroke risk, perhaps the most dangerous is not something you actively do, but something you fail to notice. I am talking about ignoring morning dizziness and fatigue. Many seniors wake up feeling lightheaded, unsteady, or unusually tired, but they brush it off as normal aging, poor sleep, or low energy. In reality, these symptoms can be early warning signs that blood flow to the brain is already compromised, and dismissing them can mean missing the critical window to prevent a major stroke. When you feel dizzy upon waking, it often means your brain is not receiving enough oxygen-rich blood. This can happen because blood pressure fluctuates at night, or because arteries are narrowed by plaque. For some, it is a sign of orthostatic hypotension, where blood pressure drops dramatically when you move from lying to standing. For others, it is an early transient ischemic attack, also known as a TIA. TIAs are sometimes called mini strokes because they cause temporary symptoms like confusion, weakness, or blurred vision that fade after minutes or hours. But here is the frightening truth. Having a TIA is a loud warning that a full stroke may strike within the next 24 to 48 hours. I have seen patients come to the hospital after ignoring dizziness for days, only to return later with devastating paralysis because the early warning was missed. Fatigue can also be deceptive. A senior who wakes up exhausted despite a full night's sleep may think it is stress or age. But hidden behind that fatigue could be sleep apnea, atrial fibrillation, or restricted circulation in the brain. Each of these is a powerful driver of stroke. The brain, when starved of oxygen or disrupted by irregular blood flow, sends signals: fatigue, brain fog, difficulty focusing in the morning. These are not inconveniences. They are messages. One case that stands out is of a 70-year-old man who woke up 3 mornings in a row with dizziness and trouble focusing his eyes. He told his wife it was probably just dehydration or poor sleep. On the 4th day, he collapsed while brushing his teeth. The diagnosis was a massive ischemic stroke. Looking back, those earlier dizzy spells were likely TIAs, and immediate medical care could have prevented the tragedy. Science backs this up. According to research from the National Institute of Neurological Disorders and Stroke, nearly 1/3 of people who suffer a major stroke report having ignored minor neurological symptoms in the days before. These include dizziness, sudden weakness, or fatigue. In other words, the brain often whispers before it screams. The solution is vigilance. If you wake up dizzy, weak, or abnormally tired, do not dismiss it. Do not wait to see if it passes. Sit down, hydrate, and most importantly, seek medical attention immediately, even if the symptoms vanish in minutes. Get checked. A transient episode is still a red flag, and urgent treatment can save your life. Seniors who learn to listen to these warning signals are not being dramatic. They are being wise. So far, we have uncovered 4 common morning habits that quietly raise stroke risk: skipping water, jumping out of bed too quickly, drinking coffee on an empty stomach, and ignoring dizziness. Each of them may seem minor, but together they create the perfect storm for a catastrophic event. Now, let us tie these lessons together and look at the doctor's final words, where I will show you how to transform your mornings into a shield of protection instead of a hidden danger. Doctor's final words. After decades of treating stroke patients, I can tell you this with certainty. Strokes do not come out of nowhere. They are often the result of years of overlooked habits, silent warnings, and small choices that slowly weaken the brain and blood vessels. The morning is one of the most dangerous times for seniors because your body is transitioning from rest to activity, and the way you handle that transition can either protect your brain or put it at risk. Skipping water leaves your blood thick and sluggish. Jumping out of bed too quickly shocks your circulation and starves your brain of oxygen. Drinking coffee on an empty stomach spikes blood pressure and strips hydration. Ignoring dizziness and fatigue silences the very warning signals that could save your life. Each one of these habits may feel harmless, but together they create the perfect storm for stroke. The good news is that you are not powerless. Your body still remembers how to heal, and change can begin tomorrow morning. Start with a glass of water. Rise slowly and gently. Eat a small nourishing breakfast before coffee. And above all, pay attention to what your body is telling you. Those whispers of dizziness or weakness are not inconveniences. They are alarms. And responding to them in time could give you years of health, clarity, and independence. If you are listening to this, share it with someone you love, because awareness saves lives. Now, I would love to hear from you. Take a moment to reflect and share one thing you have learned today and plan to apply in your own life. Let us support each other on this journey toward better health. If you enjoyed this video, comment 1. If not, comment 0. And do not forget to like, share, and subscribe for more senior health tips. Every morning is an opportunity to protect your brain and your future. Do not waste it.